Welcome to War Hero to Superhero, helping military veterans, first responders transform their lives from the prayer room to the boardroom. I am in the superhero battle room with my new War Hero to Superhero shirt. If you like it, you know to go connect and DM me to get that merch. So show you the back another time, but it's about Anthony that we're bringing to the battle room space. He is live, he is remote. We're going to do the best that we can to get the least amount of lag and the most amount of content. As usual, it's time for you to go over and guess as he transforms and talks about his story, but he's a man that served his country. He actually served in multiple branches, so you're going to see if you can guess as we're talking. Now he has a mission to serve you to be the best version of yourself. So we're going to bring him on the stage, and just remember, audio is key, and if the video goes, keep on listening, but I will be here in the background. All right, Anthony, got you live and got your remote. Do I got you?
Yes, I'm right here. I'm here.
All right, cool. Let's go jump into it before the internet loses it. All right. Let's talk about what inspired you to join the military many moons ago.
So actually, it was my mom. So I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was in the street, typical kid with the street mindset and stuff like that, and ended up getting put out the state, having to go to Georgia, graduate high school in Georgia, went back and fell into the same mindset. And then one day out the blue, my mom, she told me to get in the car with her. I forgot where she said we were going. And next thing I know, we pull up at the recruiting office, and she was like, "Sit down, recruiter, sign these papers, or you're not going home. Can't go back to my house." So I signed the papers, and that was it. I was in. And then once I got in, I liked it, and I stuck with it.
Wow. You're probably the first person in a long time I've heard that the mom drives the son to the recruiter to sign up or get out. So, man, I wish we could do that in 2024 nowadays. Everybody's got to have their quote unquote individual rights. So sometimes we need to put some people in, especially with the Army down 25% right now. So,
yes.
So you served in multiple branches, if I was right. So when did you actually leave after you did both branches, and how long did you totally serve?
Originally joined the first branch in 2004, and medically retired from the second branch in 2018. So a total of, I got it right, like 14 years. Right at 14 years.
Wow, medically retired. I mean, medically separated. I'm hoping for medical retirement. I'm at 24 years, so I'm working on that. So how was that? Because everybody fears that, getting medically separated, getting medically retired. It just, you're there, but then it just happens. You're waiting, and then next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, you're done. You have 30 days," and you're like, "Whoa!" So how was that transition in 2018 when they medically separated you, or did they medically retire you? Because I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Medically retire. It was unexpected. It literally came out the blue how the whole thing went. One of my leaders, since I can't say the ranks, because if I say the rank, they're gonna know. So one of my leaders, one day, I was a recruiter. I was on recruiting duty, and he came to the office, and I have a scar. In my head, and he asked about it, and he was like, "Did you ever get it checked out while you was in blah blah blah?" And he told me to go. He told me to go get checked out, and next thing I know, neurologist is telling me all this stuff, explain everything down to me, and then next thing I'm being told that I'm gotta go on the board on the board, and it just went on down from there. And at the same time, I was going through a divorce. My wife has left me out the blue too. That still don't know, but dealing with all that at the same time, I was unprepared. I had no intentions of getting out. My career was going the way I wanted to go. Like, it was literally, I thought I was good. I was cruising. Everything was going how I wanted. And I was up for promotion at the same time. And it was just going there, and it just hit me like a truck. So basically I was unprepared, shocked, and I had to immediately turn over to what I'm going to do next. I had no clue what I was going to do, no nothing. And like I said, I had 60 days actually, and That was it. So I was nervous. I was scared. Went through all the typical emotions, and in the end, I just had to deal with it. Had to make it work, and fortunately for me, it did.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate part in that particular regard. So you have transitional assistance service, like a week of that taps, and then you get a bunch of
Hmm.
briefings, but no one's sitting there with you going on and saying, like, hey, I know you're leaving in 60 days, but let's go over and plan and figure out where you want to go and those types of things. That's what we try to do
Hmm.
at Learn and Live and War Hero Superhero, which is the show that powers that, is to help you in that transformation. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that, because that is just, I've been through one medical board already and almost got separated in 18. So I totally understand and can sympathize with that. But it's unfortunate that that is the cultural norm. And hopefully that, as with the DoD and also veterans, start breaking that cycle. So, what made you
Hmm.
pivot to serve your current community? Because you're like, you went from, hey, everything's going fine. Someone checks you out and they're like, oh, med board, say what? And now you're like, got 60 days. And now it's now 2024. What made you serve your current community? And actually, what made you discover how to even serve that community? Because again, it's like a sticker shock when you go get told, like, hey, I'm going up from promotion, now I'm going out and being medically retired.
Hmm. Me, I had the blessing of a good leader. I had a good leader who actually helped me pivot into what I'm doing now, and he was there for me. He was. If it wasn't for him, like things would have went totally different way for me, because my mindset at the time, along with what I was going through at the time, with my well, no, with my now ex-wife, it was hard. But he helped me move along. He helped me to transition and go through everything. And what I'm doing now as a motivational speaker, now an author of a book I co-author, just came out 2 days ago, and all this came because of him. And if I can't say it's right, because again, you don't know. But all this came because of him. He called me on the phone, helped me through it, talked me through it, all that type of stuff. And then other veterans that I had served with, they helped me along, and that pretty much, through along with the therapy, that pretty much saved my life and helped me get into what I'm doing now. And what I'm doing now is serving men, serving veterans of all kinds, active, non-active, disabled, retired, whoever, and just basically turning all the trauma and pain, everything that they've been through, in service and out, before and after, turn that into, because that's initially what I ended up doing. I literally turned my pain and trauma into something positive, and I like what I'm doing now. It helped me find my actual God given purpose for being alive, and take everything I've been through, experience, and serve those who serve me, who helped me get to where I'm at. Because if it wasn't for the service and the other members and the veterans that I'm with now, who I serve with, I wouldn't be alive, to be honest with you. And so this is just my way of fulfilling my God-given purpose, my self-therapy, and then, just like I say, serve those that serve me, and just help them, see where I'm at, and I'm not the only one, and to bring those that were able to successfully do what I did, and just help. That's really it, just to help.
I think that's amazing because we have roughly 22 or more a day that go over and choose the temporary solution. It makes a permanent solution to a
Mhm.
temporary problem and whatnot. And you found your purpose and belongingness, not only serving others, but it actually saved your life also, which is really cool because you took your pain and you made it a purpose. You took the test and you made it a testimony. You took the wounds and made it wisdom, so on and so forth. So that's beautiful to go over and to hear.
Mhm.
So you've taken all those things and now going over and serving. What is the overall secret fuel that helped you during the pressure and tough times? Because they still come. Motivational speakers, everybody thinks like, oh, you're making so much money. I remember when I started my motivational speaking career in Washington, in the Washington like IRS, the state local thing, is like, oh, you're this, you're an author, you're this, you're a speaker, and they started charging me taxes for $15,000 a month, and I'm like, I'm made $150 in the year, man. I'm like, that's not always that same. It's just like, yes, you can be blessed and people make mad money, but not everybody's Tony Robbins, not everybody's Dean Gracio. So how do you deal now when the pressure and the tough times come?
I just keep doing what I did before. Like I don't stop, can't stop. I literally cannot stop doing what I'm doing. And I just, take everything I've been through, lessons I learned, again, therapy helps. I help a lot talking about it, and not sitting and dwelling in it, just push through it. We all served, we all made it through training, made it through deployments, made it through a lot of things that a lot of people will never experience, never see, they have no clue about. So, if we can do all that, suffer through that, sweat, tears, all of that. If we can do it through that, we can do it through this. And, again, I was blessed and fortunate that I had people, in my life that understood what I was going through. And they didn't let me quit. They didn't let me stop. And just keep pushing. That's literally all I can say. Just keep pushing and know it's temporary. And that's what I do.
So the motivation of perseverance and taking your past and seeing all the stuff you went through and saying, if I've done this, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
That's all. That's it. Yeah.
That's really cool. So before we get to our last question, the audience hasn't guessed yet. So if you can tell us which branches you went over and served, since you served multiple branches.
I was in the Air Force, and then I got kicked out the Air Force. And a couple of days later, I ended up in Paris Island, and that's why I ended up retired from the Marine Corps.
Wow. So you went in the branch that was quote unquote the easiest. You get kicked out the easiest. You just go even harder. All right. Yeah, they say once a Marine, always a Marine, but yeah, no one's ever.
That's literally how it went. That's literally how it went. Yeah, I got the regular failure to adapt, and then literally 3 days later, I was in Paris Island.
Wait a minute, you couldn't adapt to the Air Force, but you did 14 years in the Marines. All right, that does. I mean, that's weird. It was too easy for you. You're like, nah, this is too civilian. I really need to go hard charge. Man, you go through the crucible and everything else. Man, I can't even get through the chow line. I mean, like if I went through the crucible, I would have been medically retired. Actually, I probably been medically separated because I wouldn't even made it through the 13 weeks. All right, so that's really cool. So, yep. Usually, I don't hear the other way around. Most people that I've met like that come into the Air Force, like I was a Marine. Why'd you come? Oh, it's a lot easier in the Air Force. Like they come over on the other side. You go the exact opposite. I'm like, all right. So let's.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I never got in no real trouble in the Marine Corps, but in the Air Force, I did. The little time I did spend in there, yeah, I did get in trouble because I don't know. But yeah, that's how that went.
You just needed to be rougher and tumblier to go over and keep yourself on the straight and narrow. All right, awesome. Let's get into that last question on the superhero tactics. So either thinking of yourself as that prior Air Force or prior Marine, and actually you're always a Marine, so it's never prior, but from the Air Force or from the Marine perspective, or when you're working with one of your clients, how do you either tell yourself, your past self, or your current clients how to get from surviving to thriving?
That basically surviving is not living. That if you're surviving, you're still struggling. You're still trapped in that cycle. You're still trapped in that mindset. You're still stuck, and you're literally just struggling and crawling and grabbing and forcing your way through the pain. Now, if you're living and thriving, that means that you're on the other side of that pain. You made it through it. You made it through the struggles. You made it through all the trauma. And now on the other side, you're living your life. You're thriving. You're helping others. You're going on trips. You're not stuck anymore. You're not surviving. You're actually thriving, enjoying life. And just tell people that life is temporary, just like pain, just like happiness, just like joy, just like work, just like exercising, just like eating, being hungry. Everything is temporary. So if you just do what you have to do, find yourself, understand yourself, and don't stop, don't give up. And that if the Lord gave up, we wouldn't be here, but He didn't. He did what He needed to do to survive and make it through. And then He made the ultimate sacrifice. So if we give up and we stay stuck in survival mode, we're not enjoying the sacrifice that He made for us. So we need to live and we need to thrive. And that's what I do to myself, and that's what I tell people. Just survive, just make it, just push, just live, just don't give up.
It really sounds like if you know your identity and you know your purpose and you know your savior, that's how you can go from surviving to thriving. Because when you don't know your identity and you don't know your purpose, you're just going to go into survival mode.
Exactly.
It's real cool. Real cool. All right. So I want to thank you for going over and joining the show. Thank you for going over and taking the time to share your story. Thank you for going over and joining a branch that I probably would have died in. So thank you for that. Awesome. And we're going to give you the last part of the show. So you want to talk more about Divine Warrior Dimension and then close us out with maybe a good quote either from your new book or one that you really like. And then we'll go to credits.
Sure. Yeah, so Divine Words Dimension is the company that I made. I'm the CEO and founder. And it basically means that we are all divine. We are all warriors. And the dimension that we need to live in is God's dimension. If we stay stuck in our own individual dimensions, we will not live up to our full potential and we will not discover our purpose. So Divine Warriors Dimension is that we are all warriors in God's army. We are in His dimension, in His divine divinity. And and one thing I'll say and I'll leave it with is that when I speak and talk and say everything is that I'm not doing it for myself. Nothing I'm doing is for me. It's not for my own personal gain, individual gain. It is for others. The only thing I'm getting for this is self-therapy. That's the only thing I'm getting from this. Everything I'm doing, everything I do, all I gain, everything is literally for others. And when you hear me speak, you read what I wrote, you watch videos or anything like that, those that hear me are going to hear me. And those that don't, you're still going to hear me. And I'll leave you with that.